So before I get started, I do have a confession to make. I am essentially Neve from Catfish, with how good I am at online stalking. Like, I'm amazing at it, guys. You have no idea.
Okay.
Honestly, a lot of people have tried to make me feel bad about how good I am at it, and I don't fucking care at this point.
Let me get you caught up on this because CREEPSHOW has been proven to have done this to Emily Artful. If you need caught up, watch Emily's video. Essentially though, this tweet that I'm about to show you combined with the video clip doesn't look good for Shannon. You probably should come out and apologize for this and get help. People have been sending me CREEPSHOW re-uploads that might be about me, which I finally gathered the courage to watch. Here is Shannon using the same sock account that she used to try to get me to notice her to make a fake screenshot for her I'm sorry story time. If you scroll down, this was in Emily Artful's video. It's the same exact account, same name, same picture, and it does even sound like her if you read it. But we're gonna skip down to this because this is obsessive levels of crazy. Emily says also, I'm not trying to sound vain, but now that I'm watching her videos, I notice every subtle or not so subtle jab she's ever made about me while drawing women who look a lot like me. I could be reading too much into it, but the mediocrity picture unnerves me. This proves that Shannon is next level obsessed. We know she's obsessed. We know she's like really crazily obsessed. This takes it to a completely new level. She sat around her husband or boyfriend, so I'll just say her man's ex-girlfriend that he was so obsessed with that he and her stalked her. But she sat around drawing pictures of her. First, we've got this photo of Emily. Truly, I think Shannon had Emily Artful in her mind so much that when she drew, she just drew pictures of her. It's the level of obsession. It went unconscious, or maybe I should say subconscious. Anyway, if you look though, it's not an exact picture, but Emily's showing you how her face looks in this position, and bam, and this is the mediocrity. If you look at Emily's face in this position, the nose, the lips, the eyes, the eyebrows, the hair, everything fits Emily. How about this position? Everything from her, the way she does her lipstick to the way her nose is rounded. I noticed something though. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So really quickly, just so that you can see, here we go. If you notice in this picture, she has a tear. This is a tear. This is her crying. I know it's a weird place to have a tear, but does that kind of look like a tear? Maybe I'm reading into it too much also. This one says, thanks for watching. It really means a lot. This one says mediocrity. And it was a video about how art YouTubers aren't good at what they do, but then they try to do it anyway. How ironic. How ironic. But this is definitely Emily. What does this tell me? That CREEPSHOW was not just obsessed. She was obsessed on a level where if you found out about this, you would go to the cops and get a restraining order or something, or just let the cops know this person's this obsessed with me, right? Emily says, they're not exact copies. I'm giving examples. Thick eyebrows, thick black hair aren't exactly unique. Could be a coincidence. But a lot of her jabs would line up with something I've posted before. An example, I talked about possibly starting an art advice series on my channel that I also might have given general life advice on. She made a whole video about how YouTubers who do that are manipulating you for money. She drew the mediocrity piece while talking about YouTube artists who make mediocre art but are still popular. It all is just so sus. It is sus. I never realized how deep the rabbit hole really goes until after I came forward. I thought I'd be done with it by now, but I'm still finding out new info every day. I didn't watch her content because I didn't want anything to do with her, and now I'm seeing all I missed. Somebody says, what video? She says, admitting what I've done, DMs included, and it has I'm sorry in the thumbnail. Man, I mean, when you think about it, CREEPSHOW spent almost every day thinking about Emily. Drawing pictures of Emily. Imagine what their home life must have been like. Literally, her and her husband, boyfriend, her man, they must have just talked about Emily every day, all day. That leads us, though, to the video I played for you. Let me pull it up. So in this video, CREEPSHOW admits to being a stalker. I mean, it seems extreme, but this is when she wasn't as popular. Take a listen.
So before I get started, I do have a confession to make. I am essentially Neve from Catfish with how fucking good I am at online stalking.
Well, Neve from Catfish is good, but that's because he has to track people down and talk to them and show proof to people so they don't get lied to and catfished. You're good at doing it to try to torture somebody and threaten them and make them scared just because your your current boyfriend is her ex. I mean, that is really compulsive and crazy.
Like, I'm amazing at it, guys. You have no idea.
Well, thanks to Emily Artful, I think we have a pretty damn good idea, CREEPSHOW.
Honestly, a lot of people have tried to make me feel bad about how good I am at it, and I don't fucking care at this point. Like,
if you would have cared, if you would have listened to them, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I mean, it's pretty bad if you think about it. What is CREEPSHOW's channel name? I've talked about this before, but I haven't uploaded in about a week. So she's making fun of Emily calling her a CREEPSHOW. Or maybe CREEPSHOW knew how far of a level she'd gone with stalking Emily. So she named her channel CREEPSHOW Art because what she was doing was a literal creep show. Oh God, this video is gonna be long. All right, if you don't know, KJP has gone into full meltdown mode on Twitter. I mean really bad. We're gonna start here where she talks about the CREEPSHOW situation. CREEPSHOW Art lied that I doxed her. One of the claims that CREEPSHOW levied against me and that led me to being harassed was that I doxed her. I realized to some this is old tea, but I always knew she was lying. Her name had been shared online so much. Katie, this is why you continue to think you didn't dox CREEPSHOW when you did. Where you shared this information was the general room of my Discord, and there's a pretty good amount of people there. She says, when I stumbled upon the lolcow thread about Shannon, I was not searching for her name. I didn't care. I was searching for evidence that she falsely accused others of crimes they didn't commit. I found a variety of creators that accused her of lying. The tweets were archived there. So screenshot the tweets instead of sharing her personal info places where it never had been, where it wasn't wanted, and where it was against the rules. Began looking at her after she made a video about me stating as fact that I took out a restraining order against another creator for talking about her. The claim was false. I had sent an email explaining this to her. Here's the top part of the email. You know, I really don't care. Yeah, CREEPSHOW got that wrong, and when I went on Augie's stream, she lied to me about it, and I think we know why now. None of that gives you any type of incentive or ability or free pass to share her information around. We'll talk about this whole thing, the RO and all that, very soon. A received restraining order against the individual who I'm not naming. The judge ordered the restraining order after he reviewed the evidence. Here is the order of the granted with the name redacted. It was in effect for 2 years. And that is true and real. A judge saw the evidence, granted the RO against the creator, who I call Silverfish. Shannon refused to remove the video and continued to taunt me on Twitter. She subtweeted at me and accused me of tweeting at her. Even though these were fake accounts impersonating me, she admitted that fake accounts in her name were doing the same. Refused to remove the video. I don't like CREEPSHOW's video, but it doesn't mean she should remove it. She could have just pinned a comment that sentence near the end of her video was wrong. That's the problem, KJP, the control. You're trying to control it. On November 9th, CREEPSHOW accused me in her thumbnail entitled of doxing people. I had not doxed anybody. She then admitted that only person that could dox her was herself. She admitted she had doxed herself in the past. You really should start to look at this situation as the big picture instead of trying to force it to be false using these tactics. Do you dox people, KJP? You do. The day CREEPSHOW Art uploaded her video about me that received over 500,000 views and accused me of a variety of crimes. She taunted me by saying she was canceling me, and good luck, dude. Who cares? A day or two later, I was researching CREEPSHOW to do a response. I Googled her and the page popped up. I clicked it and noticed tweets of other creators accusing her of lying archived there. You already said this. After I found the link, instead of saving it, I shared it in a Discord I was working with a few others on the video. I failed to see at the top that her name was listed. I was then accused of doxing. This is a complete lie. You acknowledged in my server that the name was there and didn't care. So, I mean, you gotta really pick what it is that makes it not a dox. Because if you try to use every excuse to make it not a dox, instead of just speaking the truth, why are we gonna believe you? And yes, you did do this. Okay, I'm gonna do a scroll so that you can focus on this while I talk about what's going on. I'm gonna edit this very lightly and do my best to try to explain it to you and do a more in-depth video after I have time to study it more. After the Toddy lawsuit, several things have happened involving KJP and Toddy coming to an agreement. Because of this, Saltsy, Toddy's lawyer, who's been looking into having the people hacking, lying, and threatening and just doxing and attacking people investigated by the FBI. So that's what Saltsy's been up to. And now Katie has brought the people that do these things to her and given it to Saltsy. Whether you love Katie or you hate her, and we don't like her, you know that. That's my opinion. I don't like her. I think she's bad for the platform and she just never stops. No matter how you feel about her, she still doesn't deserve to be doxed, harassed, or turned into CPS, have people just making up lies about her. There's a lot of sick people out there, and they take a hatred against another creator and make their content about hating somebody as opposed to criticizing what's going on, correcting the misinformation, or whatever other thing that we do in making our videos. My point of making my videos is to keep you updated to what's going on, try to correct some of the lies being told, and give you a little bit of, save you a little time so that if you choose to still go out and look at all this stuff going on, maybe you'll have a better understanding of it by watching my video, because I'm going to include a lot of the stuff and target the things that really matter, right? Other people, though, if you look at their content and what they do, it's just all about hating on somebody, making fun of them, putting them down, trying to listen to the background audio and make a claim that they're doing something horrible to their kid. And it is very much, I'd call it bad or abusive or wrong type of content. Nothing wrong with comedy, nothing wrong with being funny, even a little bit of light trolling to make a point. All of that's good stuff, right? When you take it too far, though, you become exactly like Katie. Those that cross the line and harass Katie are exactly like Katie. They are exactly the thing that makes us not like her and have to be able to correct what she does. So, she's now taking Nat. If you remember Nat, the person that claimed her and Katie interacted for a long period of time, claimed that Katie was hacking her and coming after her and targeting her. Nat, from the Toddy Westbrook lawsuit, supposedly has apologized to Katie and corrected the misinformation after her mother found out what was going on. Also, supposedly, Nat has apologized to the FBI, apologized to Saltsy, and apologized to the police where relevant. I'm going to break this down in a full video, but Katie has had a full meltdown over this. Well, looky here, not that long ago, looks like KJP put out a video that's going to correct the whole record and do for her what Emily Artful's video did for Emily. Looks like it was 4 hours ago. It's 40 minutes long. God help me.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good day. This is not a normal video, and I realize it's going to be a little bit convoluted, and I'm probably not going to be able to answer every question that people have, but there's been a lot that's been going on in the community really.
Okay, 4 hours ago it looks like, and 40,000 views. It's actually blowing up. She's being stalked. They reported my husband to CPS, manipulated YouTubers to believe their lies. Well, let's see, because unfortunately for you, you came to me and told me about everything that was going on. And because of that now, I fully understand the situation, and I can really set things straight that you try to misrepresent to gain something.
Related to me. And it just feels like it would be completely ridiculous for me to ignore this. But I also need to respect the fact that we are now in a position where there are multiple agencies, including lawyers and police and the FBI, investigating. And so I obviously can't share everything.
All right, now some people immediately are going to say, is she being honest? So I'm going to tell you something I've experienced. One reason why during the end of the Toddy lawsuit I didn't upload as much is because I was working with the FBI and some other people. That's the best way I can say it. I'd like to be more specific, but I can't. In order to give them evidence and video clips of people stalking, doxing, and harassing and running fraudulent fundraisers. These people do not want to be able, they don't want to admit or actualize that the FBI and the authorities are involved. But I'm going to tell you now, you don't only have to trust me on it, and you don't ever have to trust Katie on anything because you'd be crazy to. There are other YouTubers out there that people respect greatly who have been interviewed by the FBI and authorities recently, and the FBI has everything out there from people that stalk, dox, harass, threaten, CPS, anything like that. So she is telling the truth when it comes to that statement.
But I did want to just tell people my side of the story, or really just what I've learned. So everyone knows that I went through a lawsuit, and it was actually it's now settled, thank goodness. And there was a lot of misinformation
Really bad edit. First things first. Take your time.
And that was going around at that time. There was a lot of just really wild accusations, and there was just a lot of people that were trying to insert themselves in.
Why don't you actually name something? Because honestly, people are going to do that when someone has 10 million subs like Toddy, and somebody is you know, notorious as you.
To the suit, which created a lot of chaos, and it created a lot of undue stress for me. I was always confident that the lawsuit would settle, or we would be able to, you know, come to a resolution. I never believed that it would go all the way, and thankfully we did settle. And honestly, I have been so happy about that. I think everyone involved was so glad to be able to put this aside.
Yeah, because you sold out Swanson. Swanson came to you and gave you private information, most likely with the knowledge you would share it. And you did. And by sharing these facts from one side of a lawsuit, it damaged the other side in their case. So now that you are working with Toddy and giving them the actual truth on the Swanson issue, Toddy took her focus off you. Piece of advice, KJP, going forward, be careful. You probably are going to be in this position again.
There truly is, when I say this, absolutely no hard feelings between me and the other parties. And it's been healing for me to have that part and that chapter closed.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. I don't think they like you. I think they did what they did because they had to. And I don't think they like the fact that you lied about them, accused the husband of killing a mother and pulling someone off life support. And I don't believe you. I think you're just trying to spin it.
But there's this lingering aspect that has been stuck, and it has really tarnished my reputation, and it's made me feel like I don't have a voice on this platform, and it's made me feel like no matter what I say or do, people say that I'm an evil, terrible person.
Well, that's because you do evil, terrible things, and then they can only draw their opinion off of that. I'll be real with all of you. Let me zoom in so I can be real with you. Woo. I'll be real with you. Katie can be a pretty nice and personable individual. The issue, in my opinion, is that she does that to manipulate you, which makes it fake. I hope she does kind of truly try to work on herself, but no, I don't think it's gonna happen, especially after this video and her Twitter meltdown from the last 4 days.
And it's hard because for months, people have been making really big accusations against me, and no matter what I say and do, it's like I've been gaslit. Like, people don't believe that actually this happened. So
can you blame them? People with a surface look at this are never going to care because it's not part of what they're looking at.
To help you understand what happened, and I don't want to have to bring all the receipts. I think there's enough videos out there.
What are you talking about? Yes, bring any and every receipt you have if you want to change people's minds. If you don't, then don't.
But there was a woman named Natalie that basically inserted herself into the lawsuit, and she alleged that I was hacking her and sending threats. And
I don't think anybody believed Nat's story. I think a lot of people thought Nat, due to her mental illness, was having that issue happen, and they took everything with a grain of salt. But let's hear it.
And doing all of these different things. And she also was alleging that we had this like years-long relationship, and we were, she was claiming things about my marriage that just were like not true. Like,
and because people just blindly believed her because of their hatred for you, I think that it's bad for that, sure. Though, after seeing you lie about the doxing, which you're still trying to do on your Twitter today, why aren't people going to believe that kind of thing when it comes out? This is YouTube. They don't live with you. We don't see you behind the scenes. We don't know you as a person. We know what you choose to put out. It's also why a lot of people have given you the advice to not put things out when you're not in a good mood.
Like that my husband was not a good dad.
Trying to be
And
nice.
that he was doing things to my son. And we had CPS at our house multiple times.
Does that have to do with Nat? Because you're talking about Nat right now.
So the first time CPS came to our house, it was in, I think, the fall. And
Maybe I skipped something. I don't think I did. It's 3 minutes
it
in.
was after a channel named T-Spiracy put out a video. In the video, she had amplified the sound of a live stream I had done.
I'm going to skip this. Nobody believed this when it came out. If they did, then I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say. You just seriously should have never put this at the beginning of the video. It's a crazy, insane thing. Most people that believe that are just trolling you. They're not giving you a chance.
Video that T-Spiracy.
Anybody that filed you to CPS or anything like that deserves to be investigated, in my opinion. The ones that filed the false reports and wasted CPS's time, definitely.
Put on her channel, which she still will not, to this day, remove.
Well, it makes money. What do you expect? There's a reason people do this stuff. All you got to do is look at their channels to see it.
They came, they interviewed us, they interviewed my son's nurses, and
I'm skipping past the CPS garbage.
at the height of everything, when this Natalie person entered, suddenly we started receiving all of these threats.
Well, now we're back to Natalie. All right. So this, we remember that. I covered that threat. All right.
So on a
We
daily
covered that.
basis, I was receiving anywhere from 20 to 30 horrific threats.
I really don't think you took my advice when I first told you to contact the authorities. Every time you mentioned the authorities, it was as if you had just contacted them. It wasn't getting a hold of them again, reaching out to the same people you talked to. You should have went to the cops in the very beginning of it all.
So the threats were coming from what has seemed to be a spoofing email.
Future UNIRock, I am not going to edit this video past this point. If you don't like that, please, you can click away. I'm just saying, I'm not going to heavily edit past this point.
So I learned a lot in this process. So basically what was happening was they were using a website that allows people to fake emails. And so
We know this. You don't have to bring this
had
up.
a relationship with me, even though she didn't. I didn't know her. I didn't have any conversations with her. I don't talk with people really off of
Why are you showing a picture of her? And why are you showing a literal troll account sharing the picture?
like DMs. And I certainly really don't talk to my subscribers just because I've been stalked.
This is a troll trolling you. It's so easy to just create a different account and have it click there.
For such a long time.
I don't think, hey, look, if people are going to believe that kind of stuff, they're not the kind of people that you want to make videos towards.
In the middle of all of that, there was a
If they'll believe anything, then why are you trying? They're not going to believe you.
Facebook group that was run by someone named Tina, who has been doing this to me for over 2 years.
Well, she is a doxer. She's the one that shared your house and threatened you. So yeah, I would think that if she's the one running it, then there's a problem there. But don't worry, you're working with the FBI now. If you are, they will take care of Tina due to all the doxings Tina's done. So chill.
There was a Reddit called
Oh, and her having Reddits and stuff like this are only going to help the FBI when they finally go in. You know, stop her. This is good. Let Tina do all this so that when they come in, they can take care of it.
Like it's an anti without a crystal ball, but it looks like without a crystal ball. So I think it sometimes confuses people. And then there was these parody accounts that were popping up on Twitter that were apparently spreading, you know, the truth about me.
That's always going to happen, Katie. You just got to deal with it.
And what they were doing was effectively moving from creator to creator and gaslighting them about me, lying about me. And
if a creator is going to allow themselves to believe fake screenshots and other things, they're dumb and they deserve to be fooled. They'll eventually not, you know, people aren't going to end up continuing to watch a creator who's that dumb. Sorry to say, but it's true.
And making them believe I was doing things that I wasn't doing. And so they were accusing me of doxing, of stalking, of harassing people.
You have doxed and stalked people. You just like to make a description of these events that makes it to where you're innocent. Relevancy review. So for this, we've got the guy who back in last 2019, 2 years ago, 2 years. This is the guy we're talking about that KJP put a restraining order on due to his online behavior against her. Successfully. That's the key word here. You can hate her, you can love her, you can really hate her. Either way, she definitely had enough actual evidence to get the RO. He says she didn't. And let's show you this because it's just stupid bad. May 1st, 2020, I posted on my blog an entry, My Truth, My Story Being Me Too'd by KJP. A month later, he had an ex parte RO, TRO, temporary RO, which temporary, you can just take that word out. Temporary just means it's not permanent. It's only in for a set of years. Ex parte means they did it because it had enough evidence that they didn't even need him there. Here's how it works. If you go get an RO, they're going to either give it to you or they're going to go ask the other person what their side is, then decide whether to give it to you, or they're just not going to give it to you. Those are your three options. This was an ex parte. No other party. We don't need the other guy here due to the amount of evidence. We're granting this RO. So this proves by having ex parte here, he didn't have to be there. There's no denying it. Now, of course, he's going to deny it because he doesn't want people to know that he did this. He tries to tell you he didn't do this. All right, let's continue. He says the RO was done for no other reason than to attempt to silence him from telling his story. No, not true. It's because he lied about his story so much that she had to file it. His blog is about philosophy and some science. That's a lie. It's about semantics. But that entry became the most viewed blog entry on his whole site. He just cares about the views. 6,000 views. To compare, one of my favorite entries only had 2,000. He says, it wasn't enough to get my story out to make a bit of difference. Even though my entry was well documented and factually correct as humanly possible, that's why this is yellow. It's a lie. He didn't include any evidence, and he lied about everything. I had it reviewed over and over to ensure every word replayed his story, but it wasn't enough. He's just lying. He says the facts are he's single, cisgender, Jewish, heterosexual, middle-aged, white male, even though he's agnostic. So, at least in some small way, if anything, no matter how factually accurate or fastidiously well documented in today's online culture, it doesn't compare to the mere allegations of a woman. No, it was the massive evidence she had. We've seen it. I've shown it here. You did this. You can go back and watch my content where I documented what was going on. It has video clips, it has him admitting to what he said. It's got everything. It's got all the doxings and threats and stuff. It's all there. You know if you watched it. All of you know. Okay, no matter how non-factual or devoid of evidence their allegations happen to be, well, how did the judge file the thing without talking to you? If it had no evidence. It had massive evidence. Enough for a judge to file an RO. Very few readers came to me asking about my side. That's a lie. You blocked anyone that asked a single question. Of course, my close and dear friends knew the truth. Yeah, that's probably true. But then again, since they lied about it, I marked it as a lie. But his friends knew he was lying. Some of whom it pains me to say are no longer with us. In addition, some of whom I thought my friends would never ask about anything. I realized that they never cared, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. It's worse than some actually started to believe the unsubstantiated allegations. Even though there was never a shred of evidence to support them, nothing, not a damn thing. The reason he keeps repeating there wasn't any evidence is because there was massive evidence. I'm not going to edit this that much either, guys. I just want to get this out. Remember, many of those people I thought were friends considered themselves to be part of a skeptic community. Gotta have to throw the BS flag on that for sure. I'm not even remotely exaggerating when I say there was no evidence. You see how this whole thing here is just no evidence, no evidence, no evidence. Even though the judge granted it due to the massive amount of evidence, no evidence, no evidence. I'm telling you straight up in no uncertain terms, quite literally, that in the strongest sense of the word, there was no evidence submitted to the court of any... Now, this is different because he says there's no evidence of any SH. Was there no evidence, or is there no evidence of SH? Because you got the order for harassment, cyberstalking, doxing, and all those things. The judge checkmarked it all. Then he goes even further. None, nothing, zip, nada. I mean, legit nothing, not a single thing was substantiated by her in regards to her allegations of SH. Yes, because it was all about the harassment. It was a harassment RO to stop you from harassing. Then it's just a bunch of jargon. Let's keep going. He says, after all, it's not like I have millions of subs to explain my side of things in a video. I didn't have the ability like Emily did with more than 500,000 subs to take on a 6-digit sub YouTuber. Look, let's just get real. He just used Emily Artful. He used Emily being Ard, having been stalked and harassed by CREEPSHOW and her ex-boyfriend, or her current boyfriend, Emily's ex-boyfriend. He's trying to use it for his own gain. He brings up Emily so much while trying to lie about how much evidence there was. It's disgusting. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to end this now so I can upload an entire video just showing what KJP and him have done to try and mimic Emily. Taking Emily's misery and her pain and all that she went through. I don't care if you give an opinion. I don't care if you explain what happened. But if you're going to try to use it while you lie your ass off like Katie and he did, they need a video. So I'm working on that now. Thank you for watching. Sorry about not uploading in the last week. I think most of you know why. I had the fakest debate ever, and I'm doing a full video on that too because, ooh, it's a biggie. Ooh, it's a good one. You're going to like it. So all these things take time, especially preparing for that, and then doing it took a lot of time. So get ready because it's all getting out so we can put this behind us. See you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.